threaten you as a corporation and say, in order for you to stand by me and this black woman who's doing the first black thing, and you have the bragging rights on me, you have to allow me to continue to grow. And so as a result of knowing your power, that's how I've been able to pivot and kind of walk in the room a little bit cocky and say, hey, what God got for me, I got my people, I'm talking to y'all, so I'm asking for your support. But at the same time, let these corporations know strategically, if you want to use me as pro bono for percentages, you also have to back me so that I can scale. And don't just give me a piece of the pie. Put me in a position where I have the entire pie.
That's all I had to do.
Larry, he's going to say period. Brother Earl.
I want to switch seats with Larry, man. Look, they're taking all the good answers.
I'm going to stop with you on the next one.
That's okay. I'm joking. No. So here, I'll just do a recap. I mean, from what I heard, and I agree. I think that you have to find your own lane. I think that's one of the biggest things that business owners understand. I mean, to everyone's point, you can literally have 12 barbershops, but what makes your barbershop unique? What makes your barbershop stand out, right? I mean, I had a towing company, and I had a vision and a dream that I wanted to have one of the largest towing companies in the state. And so I said, okay, there's several different types of towing, right? I mean, you've got repo, and you've got, I'm not going to go into any names because you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But what I would say is that there are several different ways I could have went in. But one way I saw a lane was municipal towing, which is towing for different cities and having city contracts. There were no blacks doing that. There were no blacks. So I said, okay, I'm going to make it my business to get in front of every city politician, every political organization, every meeting I'm coming in, I'm passing out business cards, I'm introducing myself. Every time they look up, they're going to see me on the news screen. I literally wanted it to be to where every chance I got, I was in front of them, right? What's the importance of that? Well, eventually it got to the point where they were asking, who is that? Who's that guy? I mean, literally, people think I'm a politician to this day. It's like, because I went to the meetings, I went to the functions, I was putting myself in that room. And so I say that to say, whatever it is you're doing, I think you have to make sure that you are standing out. Whatever it is. I mean, you have to be unique in your own way. I mean, if you're making a burger, make the best burger. You have to be able to look at the competitors. And that's why you see a Wendy's and a McDonald's across the street from each other. You see a Burger King and a Popeyes, because guess what? None of that is competition to them. Because they all do something different. Yeah, they're all making burgers, but guess what? This burger is different. This burger is called different. And so I would say definitely being unique, standing out in my own lane, and now I am proud to say I'm one of the largest black-owned towing companies in the state.
Let's give it up for Senator. Now, these are some good nuggets that we're hearing right here. Now, this question, and when I wrote it, it had me to go back and think about it. Now, achieving the first $1 million in revenue is a significant milestone for any entrepreneur. When I hit my first 7 figures in revenue, I cried like a baby. And it wasn't tears of joy. I was wondering where the money was at. I was sad. I got my tax papers back. 7 figures, well. I want you to talk about the moment you realized you were on track to hit this milestone. What did it teach you about goal setting and financial planning? We're going to start with Senator Earl down there.
Thank you so much. So that's a great question, Bishop. Look, what I'm going to say is, first, yes, it is a shocking moment, right? Because in some aspects, a lot of new entrepreneurs, are not prepared, they're not ready, right? The IRS is right around the corner looking like, gotcha, right? So, took your answer, didn't I? know. But no, so what I'm going to say is that when you hit that million, learning how to reinvest. One of the things that I've made at a point in my life is to make sure that I'm reinvesting, whether it's the business, whether it's real estate. And I think that's one of the things that entrepreneurs understand, is that you have to be able to circulate your money. Whether it's opening up another location, right? I mean, you hear Larry talking about opening up, a school. He's opening up a bank. You know what I mean? So being able to learn how to recirculate those dollars. Now he's taking other people's money and recirculating it, right? And so I think that's the important part when you're talking about hitting that dollar is, what do you do? What do you do with it? What are you going to do with that? Because a lot of us, right, I said it earlier, we're not trained. We haven't been taught how to properly manage money, what to do with our money when we get it. And so we'll spend, we're going to blow it. I'm rich. That's the first thing, in our mind. It's like, but, $1 million in revenue ain't necessarily $1 million in your pocket, to Marcel's point. And I think that's something else that we have to understand is that hitting $1 million in business does not mean that you just got $1 million in your pocket, right? And I think that's a myth in the Black community is that I'm a millionaire, yeah, but how much you owe, what was the write-off? It's like, and that bottom line is what's important, right? I mean, watching that bottom line, what did you profit? We're talking about making $1 million. What did you profit at the end of the year? Minimizing your costs, minimizing your risk. And so for me, I am an avid, believer in, opening up a business. I love business. We're talking about the twin aspect, but I own several other businesses as well. I've got some business deals that I'm in the process of. Might even have some after this tonight. So we'll see. There you call it. But no. So definitely, I think that's something that you have to understand is that never get tired. Always keep that visionary mindset, right? I mean, we're visionaries, right? So always keep that open, and never tie yourself down so much to where you can't keep that part open.
All right, Mr. Robbie, how was it when you hit your first 7 figures? And what did you learn?
So it's scary because it's almost like you at Walgreens or at the checkout line, and they don't have those little things set there for a reason. They're actually set there strategically for you to spend more money. And so you have to, again, figure out ways to reinvest. And that's how I said, okay, I'm not going to go over here and go into party promoting, and I'm in pest control. Like for my serial entrepreneurs that brag on being a serial entrepreneur. But then it gets to the point you will drain yourself out going all over here if you just learn how to upsell currently what you have. And so the reinvesting piece, and then you all have amazing people, $1 million and under, have amazing benefits that you're not even aware of. Solo Roths, 401ks, knowing how to put your money into investments so you can move your money around, because money is moving and it likes to move, as Andrew Cardone would say. And so just understanding that you have to reinvest it, and I also have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you're never comfortable. The $1 million is like, you better not be comfortable, right? And so if you can just get the mindset, it just taught me that 5 million, 10 million, you see people reinvesting and juggling that money and it's going in and coming out, and they are never uncomfortable. So what I'm learning is just to not get comfortable. But that's the great part about the journey, is that you just get a chance to reinvest and flip it, and risk taking, and when it goes well, it's like, yes. And then when it don't go well, it's like, oh, I'll do that again, implement it and keep it moving. So it's been great. It's scary, but I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable.
It's definitely scary because you don't know where that money went, and you don't know what the IRS is going to come knocking on your door. And so the most important thing is to know your numbers for your industry. For me, in my industry, I need my payroll numbers to be under 30%. Make sure you're not over hiring and not under hiring. I need my sales to be at 10, and my advertising budget to be at 10% in order to grow my business. So for me, I had to hire an accountant and hire an attorney to make sure my business situation was fine. From my numbers to my documents I need to file. Also, I made sure I started a nonprofit so that I could make sure at the end of the day, if I had too high of a profit, I wasn't putting 30% out of the way the taxes. So the most important thing is knowing your numbers and understanding what does it look like to scale. In my business, I've only raised a little bit over $1 million. A recent competitor in New York raised $5 million. I know I have to raise more money, but I have to make sure I have a plan for where all those dollars are going to go. So give every dollar you make in your business an assignment, and make sure that you have the right professionals who can advise you on what to do, how to spend it.
You gave the non-for-profit sauce. Woo! That boy dropping them gems.
That was good. That boy good.
So I used to say that I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. God said no. I said, why, God? He said, because you're gonna be a billionaire.
That's right.
I'm gonna be a billionaire. But you have to go through in order to get to. But it's how you deal with what you go through that determines how you come out, right? So I remember first opening up the hair care industry is a $547 billion industry. A lot of us in this industry make so much money. A lot of us don't pay taxes. We don't have health benefits. We don't have 401ks. We don't have any investment. We don't have any of those things. I remember changing the rims on my Blazer when I was 18, 19 years old, like they were underwear. But I didn't pay the rent on a place I was renting. the lady come in with the 5-day notice because I didn't pay the rent, but I bought no rim for my truck. Or I'm on the phone making payment arrangements with the light company or the phone company while I'm cutting hair because I done put some sounds in my truck, right? So that's a part of not being able to handle where I was at the time because I made so much money. A lot of times we make a certain amount of money and we think just because we make $300,000, we think we can go buy a $300,000 or $400,000 house, and it doesn't work like that. And he talked about the non-for-profit aspect of it, right? So, and then even investing. I invest in things I understand. So I have 8 barber schools, cosmetology schools. I'm the first person in my industry. I just closed a deal the other day where I'm literally getting ready to build a cosmetology and barber school from the ground. Like, it's never happened before in our industry. The bank that I work with has never closed a deal like this before, ever, with somebody in my industry. I have a shoe and clothing line. I have shops in Walmart. I have a men's hair care product. I have an automotive school of technology where it teaches automotive, diesel, aviation, HVAC, appliance repair, and welding. And for me, it's trade schools, right? So all of the things I'm doing, it works together hand in hand. So I'm not like exhausting myself in all of these areas. So basically, as a non-for-profit, when he talked about the taxes, I can't take a loss because I have Title IV, like a regular 4-year university, but I do have a non-for-profit where you can take and you can give some of your finances to your non-for-profit to do certain things, which is a 990, right? But you're giving it to yourself and not having to donate it to other non-for-profits. Not saying that you can't if you don't want to, but it just kind of, you know what I'm saying, it works together hand in hand. So it's always good to do a 501c3. Everybody always talks about, I'm gonna start my own LLC. You just heard somebody else say that. You need to understand the difference between an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, and a 501c3. There are so many different corporations out here. So just make sure you understand what tax bracket you're putting yourself in. I'm the only barber school that ever had housing. So I'm going to build student housing from the ground where students are going to come from all over America, all over the world to go to my school and they can live on campus, come to Barber and Cosmetology. Dope, right?
Period.
Period.
Now, you know what? There was a lot of great nuggets from here. First, listening to Larry made me tired. How do you do all of it? But I did with a team. Early talked about knowing the difference between net and gross, because you can gross $1 million, but if you're not netting $1 million, you're really not a millionaire. Robbie said money moves. We got to keep moving the money. Jeff taught us now success leaves clues. And when you look at our counterparts that have these multi-million-dollar companies, they all have foundations and nonprofits. And Jeff talked about that. I don't want to touch too much on it because the IRS may be watching.
It's okay, as long as you're doing it right.
As you're doing it right. And Brother Larry is changing the game in his industry, but helping other people. So let's talk about opportunities, because you all talk about the different opportunities that you have. But success often involves seizing the right opportunities at the right time. Can you discuss an opportunity that significantly impacted your business growth trajectory? And so I know we all been in a situation, and you said it in the back, Senator Early. You get a call about an opportunity, and it, you know, you're like, well, I wasn't thinking about that, but let me think about it. How do you handle that? How do you know what's the best opportunity for you and how to seize it?
You want to go first?
Well, I'll go first because I don't want to compete with Larry with it. I got a torn school I'm finna do too, Larry. All right.
Use my automotive school to get your truck.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call
Use
you.
my pest control company.
Okay, I'm calling all y'all. Okay, I gotta just come to the club. It's a team. I already told y'all.
And you
Anyway,
got advertise on the radio.
what was the question?
When presented success, often, you know, we have to make calculated risk in business, right? Entrepreneurship. And sometimes to be successful, you have to be able to seize the right opportunity. How do you know when it's the right opportunity to seize?
So here's what I'll say. Actually, I'll echo what Larry just said. It's having the right team, right? And knowing not only what you're capable of, but knowing what your team is capable of, right? I mean, I'm very diverse in my portfolio. I mean, I own a chain of restaurants as well. I've got a funeral home. You know, I'm going to start another venture, you know, and so, but I think it's a matter of knowing not only what your strengths are
and Benoit with the teamsters. I love business. So it doesn't matter what type of business it is. If it makes sense dollar-wise, I'll jump in. I mean, to Robbie's point earlier, we are all professional risk takers. That's what we are. We're professional risk takers. Someone had to ask me, what do I do for the? I'm a professional risk taker. Because you literally don't never know what the outcome is going to be. Larry's building a school. He doesn't know if that school's going to be successful. He's building it in faith on the hopes of it's going to work. But if it doesn't work, guess what? He's already got a backup plan. And that's, I think, the key to being a business owner, right? I literally just had someone call me the other day. Kiana's my witness. And it was offering me something. And I threw it her way. Because I'm not privy to that, but I said, hey, I got somebody I know that you can talk to, right? Because people call me all the time with various different things. So I know when to say no. It's a matter of knowing when to say no and knowing when to say yes. But I think that that's important, is knowing, what your team is built on, knowing who you have on your team, right? There are deals that I'm taking today, that I'm taking on today, that I wouldn't have taken 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, right? Because my team is strong. I have more people on my team. I have a diverse profile of people on the team. Now that I'm in the restaurant industry, I got a person that used to run a pizza restaurant. So a pizza restaurant chain came into play. I got somebody on my team now, right? So it's a matter of learning and knowing your team, knowing what your strengths are, not just personally, but a team as a whole. And also key to what Larry said is building the right team, having a team. Entrepreneurship is not about, we all are able to sit here now because we have a team. We didn't shut down. I guarantee I'm pretty sure you ain't shut down today, right? Everybody on this stage is making money right now. But we're making money because we have the right team. And so being able to pick the phone up, make a phone call, or whatever, if something goes wrong, but having that team that knows what to do when you're away. And I think that's another false myth in our community, is that I want to become an entrepreneur and I'm gonna work every day 24/7, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna live out. No, that's not. Entrepreneurship is freedom. I'm gonna repeat that. Entrepreneurship is creating freedom for yourself. What do I mean by that? I mean being able to have the right team, put the right team in place, to be able to make other decisions and other moves. Larry can't build a school if he's sitting at a at one of his barbershops all day. He can't. He couldn't be sitting here in front of you talking. Robbie can't. If she had to go and chase the mice and the insects, she wouldn't be able to be sitting here in front of you and give you guys this knowledge. So I think that's the part too that entrepreneurs have to understand, is that you have to be able to set the team up to where you're able to walk away, you're able to take trips, you're able to travel, you're able to have these meetings, get into the right rooms, right? But you're not able to do that if you don't have the right team.
Thank you, Reverend.
No problem.
Robbie, well, listen, Early really gave, I think, all the answers for everybody up here. But that was a good.
Yes. Did it fine.
He killed y'all. Next question. No, Robbie.
And one more thing.
All right, we're gonna pull your coattail. But no, Robbie, would you like to add anything?
I mean, right now, what's happening to me right now, a service-based business, a restaurant, products, retail, all those are different businesses. So service-based, I'm used to. Retail, this is a different beast. And so everyone is like, at this point, is giving me calls. They're ready to be investors. I have a good product. I feel good about it. I'll share with you all breaking news. I got contacted from Shark Tank last week. Just having these opportunities.
Can I go on and hold the thing up? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I just want to hold the product up. Okay.
So I have something great, and celebrities are using it. And it's like, yes, now, Robbie, get into Target, get into Walmart, get into here. And it's like, the shiny object part of this thing is not the long haul, and it's not the smart thing to do. Because what happens when you look at shiny objects? You run into a cash flow issue, trying to be popular and trying to be everywhere. Know your market, know your audience. And so my point right now is to stay humble, stay grateful to God, make the right decisions. And right now, I'd rather take the stairs than the elevator. So you all sit there on that and say no. So that's happening to me right now. To answer your question is, I'm not looking at the shiny objects, and I know that God placed me in a position not to be popular and be known. He actually put me in it so that my family and my children and my parents can be happy and proud of me. I want y'all to see God when y'all see me. And so that's what it's about. So if I continue to keep that on the forefront, I think I'll be able to surround myself around the good people, make good decisions. And so, yeah, but I'm dealing with it in real time. It's crazy. So.
Hey, evangelist.
Y'all preaching up there.
Election plate.
Pass off, Larry. Pass off,
Let's
Larry.
make sure I write them ties off. Make sure I write the ties off. I want to give a shout out to Kiana and the whole Power Conference team. It's amazing. Absolutely. I'm a big believer that we all are where we're supposed to be at every given moment. We all here for a reason, not just to bring information to the team. So first of all, thank you. One thing I want to add is that when it comes to finding opportunities and kind of discerning which is for you and which is not, it's just as important that you say no as when you say yes when it's a good opportunity. For me, I got a call. I was at Art Basel. I went back Monday to the crib after I kicked it all weekend. I got a call that I might have to do a big ticketing client. I might have a big ticketing client. I need to fly back. And it ended up being Kanye West, right? And we know, I'm a huge fan of his music, but I know right now he's not the most popular brother in the world. And so I had to make a decision about whether I was going to fly my whole team. Didn't know if this event was going to happen. It ended up being one of the biggest events we ever had on our platform. I would say the best quarter of our career. And so because of that, and so it's having a great 2023, we have a new strategic investment that we're going to announce in a couple of weeks from a big strategic partner. And so that's going to allow us to have our seed round, and we've already had folks who are now reaching out. So I think that what happens is you have to stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. We had to wait in the hotel for 2 days, and just wait for them to make up decisions. But it was one of the best experiences of my life, right? And so I think that at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're prepared and you're willing to show up when you have to. Right? That's what it's all about.
All right.
Yeah, just real quick, I think that you have to plan, put a vision board together, get you a 3, 5, 7, 10-year plan. Don't just jump out there. So even though an opportunity presents itself, you can't just jump out there and not have something in place to make sure that you can properly handle what it is. I'm a professional risk taker as well. I'm a professional risk taker, man. People don't believe the stuff that I do. But I told the bank, I said, they wanted to know like the debt you have, like everything. They're going to comb through your whole entire life. I had to give them financials for every last one of my companies, every last one of my businesses, because they wanted to make sure that my debt to credit ratio and all of this stuff. But I told the bank, I don't have any personal debt. They're like, yeah, that's not possible. I don't have any personal debt. Why? Because I positioned myself where I wouldn't be in a position where I wouldn't be able to properly take care of my businesses because of all of these things that I want. And all of these things I felt like I needed, where, no, forget that stuff, man. I want to make sure my businesses can survive, right? So at the end of the day, we just have to properly prepare and plan to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a situation where it can cause us to lose everything.
All right. Listen, we're talking, and I want you all to think. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart, right? You got to be a professional risk taker. Can I say hell?
Yeah.
Okay, I know this is your church. I don't want to make sure. When all hell is working loose, employees are showing out, they not coming to work, funding fell through the cracks, that new contract that you flew out to Miami for didn't go through and you done wasted all this money. How do you keep a positive mindset? How important has mindset been in your journey? And can you share how you cultivate a positive and resilient mindset amidst challenges?
I start. So every day that I get up, I'm born and raised in church. Me and you grew up the same way, Marcel.
Saying the
same every Friday night. I got sick of getting saved. I could put spit on my face so they can let me sit down and thought I was crying. Seriously, right? So every morning I get up, man. First thing I do is thank God for another day. Activities of my limbs, all of that, right? Give God the glory. And I read me a few scriptures. I do something positive, right? When I leave out the house, I affirm that today is going to be the greatest day ever. God, please continue to bless me and my family so that we can be a blessing to others, right? And sometimes it ended up being the worst day that I ever had, but I never stopped affirming that it's going to be the best day that I ever had. So for me, it's just believing what God's word says, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, we was brought up, if you drink, you're going to hell. If you smoke, you're going to hell. And everything was a sin, right? And I had to break myself from it because that's not the God we serve, man. God knows my heart. So at the end of the day, I used to always put everything, like if I got a flat tire, I'm like, man, why I have to get a flat tire? Because I'm living safe and I'm doing everything. It's just a flat tire, Larry. Get the nail out of the tire, change the tire, and you'll be okay, right? But I used to always attribute, every time something went wrong, I attributed to, I must have did something that this went wrong. No, you're just going through a season right now, right? And it's how you deal with what you're going through that's going to determine how you come out, man. So hey, if something go wrong, I said maybe it just wasn't divine for God to allow this to happen at this moment, but I'm gonna keep going. I feel like I'm in 2040 already. I'm gone, bro. I'm out of here.
All right, brother Jeff.
What was the question again? One more time.
How do you keep a positive mindset?
Oh yeah. So one day I had 3 dreams in one, and that's where I decided to quit my job the next month. And it was 3 dreams in one, and what I got from was God telling me that I needed to live in my purpose. And my purpose was to improve the quality of life in my community via health, wealth, and leisure. And I didn't know exactly what that meant until I had a second dream, and I had a headache. And it let me know that one, I needed to keep doing what I was doing, focus on health media, helping. I was working at Black Doctors at the time, and we were teaching African American patients about how we can improve our health, diabetes, all the health disparities out there that we need to work on. And I ended up launching a company, my little brother, called MD Newsline. It's doing really well. And then with wealth, it was during the pandemic, there were no events, and I just quit my job. And I decided to get a real estate license because I've been throwing parties for 12 years. And so I have one of the biggest databases in Chicago. And so there was no party. So I said, look, guys, real estate's booming. And guess who's a real estate agent now? He used to be a party promoter. And all my friends supported me. Within 3 months, I was a top 10% realtor at my brokerage. And so I now helped over 50 families get their first homes. Right?
Wow.
And then leisure, what I've been doing with events. And so helping people to really deliver experience bliss through events. People are getting married. People are finding their friends. And now we have events in Accra, in Louisiana, in Indiana, where folks who are coming to events that they're finding on Event Noir. So for now, if it's within my 3 pillars and 3 of the things that God's told me to focus on, then I say yes to it. If it's not, then I keep that for somebody else.
All right, I love it. Okay, evangelist and reverend down here, we got 1 minute left. Let's
Come on,
knock it out.
saints. Come on, saints. So, in terms of mindset for me, I've had the pain of losing my mom about 2 years ago, but I had the luxury to sit next to her. And I went from grow my business, make the business great, give me this, to just saying, God, if you could just give her another breath and another 5 minutes, just let her live another hour. That humbles you. And it makes you say, okay, that's what's it. And then everything else on top of that is the icing on the cake. Your mindset is everything, right? And so just knowing that, have you ever thought about somebody, or somebody said, I brought a red car, then you leave out, you see all the red cars. That's not by coincidence. We are creators and we manifest, and the universe matches exactly what you put out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm a true believer in God, but I'm a true believer in already knowing that it's already done. It is nothing that has not happened in my life that I did not speak for.
Yes.
So I trust to know that when I walk into a room where I'm talking to you, it's not a cockiness about me, it's a cockiness of knowing who's doing it and who's going to do it. So I don't even question it. And then whatever does not happen, that's in the greater good as well. So you just kind of walk around like you're on board.
Now, Robbie, they're gonna have to pick up the rest on your YouTube channel for $19.99 a month. No, early, I know we over time, but 30 seconds, 30 seconds.
I'll bring it on then. We were just talking about those time watchers in the hall. So look, listen, real quick. I would be remiss if we are in a church, right? So I'm gonna first number one say, always keep God at the pivotal instinct of every day, right? You wake up, you pray, and you honestly, it's true, you shoot for the stars. It's what it is. I mean, it's like, literally, I wake up every morning, I look at my phone, and like, one I over, like, I hope this is like that, but number 2, you have to love what you do. And that's what really keeps you going, right? When you love what you do, you have a passion. I love business. So literally, it's like, my wife is like, what is wrong with it's like what looks like chaos. Sometimes I even hate taking certain phone calls around her because she'll be like, what happened? And it's like, I'm like, oh, that's okay. So, don't get me wrong. Business freaks you out, I mean, but you have to be ready for it. I love it. So, I literally might yell, scream, or whatever, like Larry should have called me for a tow. But after that, I go on about my day, and it's just, you have to get it done. And so I would definitely say, whatever it is you're doing, make sure it's your passion, make sure you love it, and the rest is history.
Listen, let's make some noise for this phenomenal panel. Larry, Jeff, Robbie, and Early.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you for those salmon sandwiches. That was amazing. Yes.
All right.
Whitney B. Hampton, a pioneering real estate broker and entrepreneur, reshaping the Chicago landscape. Since 2019, she's driven over $22 million in sales, making homeownership a reality for hundreds of families. With the 2020 We Will Young Women of the Year award, Whitney isn't just selling homes, she's building a brighter future. Prepare for inspiration. Introducing TransVQ III, the dynamic force behind Sip and Savor, transforming Chicago's South Side with coffee houses that brew a blend of community spirit and cultural richness. Trans vision goes beyond coffee. It creates inclusive spaces that offer job training and opportunities, particularly for the youth and underserved communities. Get ready to be uplifted by the passion and purpose of TransVQ III. Introducing Tracy Powell, a trailblazer in technology, real estate, and investment. He's directed $100 million in grants to fuel inner city growth. As the driving force behind Ignite Technology and Innovation and Momentum Coffee and Co-working, Tracy is redefining community spaces with technology and collaboration at their core. Get ready for Tracy Powell's inspiring vision.
All right. So I am excited to moderate this panel. We are talking about a legacy of excellence. So first, tell us what you all were doing before you became entrepreneurs.
Test 1, 2. So for me, I was doing a multitude of things. I was a federal agent. I was a real estate investor. And for the most part, a husband and a brother. I did the family thing. So I was doing multiple things before I got into the coffee industry.
There we go. All right, for me, I started off here in Chicago in banking and finance, and spent some time working for corporations like Merrill Lynch and First Chicago, and eventually got the real estate bug, and that's when I eventually started to become what I call a real estate developer, and ultimately became an entrepreneur after working for several other companies.
I like, first of all, that both of you mentioned that you were in real estate. So recognizing that real estate helped prepare you to what you all are today. Tell me what principles and values are your businesses built on right now?
So at Sip and Savor, we have this saying where coffee and community meet. So we build it, I guess it's like pillars, we call it our tagline. We big on community, meaning we hire in the community, we participate in community events. When we have seminars or when we have things like wine tastings, house music and stuff like that, we use the DJs. When we have spoken word, we use the poets. We always try to use those people in the community. Another thing we base it on is giving back. We want to do more in the community, so we always involve ourselves in the community. And those are principles we I said you guys not to say try. We instill in our employees. We call it the SIP Platinum Experience.
We have some similar values that we share with Sip and Savor as well. I mean, we both do coffee, but for us, coffee is just the entree into build a community. And our symbol is the power symbol. And really what that means is community empowerment. How do we create spaces that bring in people, organizations, partnerships, collaborations that can help build our community? So we've always been really a community-based organization that just happens to sell coffee. So really those are some of the strong values that we push, and we continually just try to create relationships and collaborations using coffee as the attraction.
So I want to take a second just for us to applaud what you all have created within the community. We have 2 Black-owned coffee house chains, right? Not just 1 location, not 2 locations, not 3 locations, not 4 locations, not 5 locations, 6 locations between the 2. And so this is no small feat, right? And so how are you able to cultivate a spirit of excellence? How do your locations embody these principles without you being able to be at all of them, right? You are one person. You cannot be at all these locations at once. So how do you manifest those principles?
I'll jump in there real quick. Well, one is obviously not just me, because I'm sitting here on stage. It's really about teamwork. I'm only one half of my business. My wife is my partner, and a partner in a real way. She's really the backbone of Momentum. Sometimes I'm more like a face, and my daughter, who's out there now, she'll say, "Daddy, you don't do no work. Mama do all the work." And and so
smart child.
So for us, though, it's really about building a strong team. I mean, I think you've heard other speakers talk about teamwork. You really cannot build multiple locations or even scale a business without a team. So we really focus a lot on team development, strong baristas, strong cafe associates, and now just moving to store managers and really digging in deep on how we train. And then, instill not just the physical training from how do you pull a shot, but really just like pride in our community and how we and our employees have pride in what we're doing and feel really good, just like Whitney said, about just the accomplishment that we're in 6 communities throughout Chicago.
Tracy hit it right on the head. One of the things I think that helps all of us is teamwork. So my daughter, who's sitting out there pumpkin, she handles a lot of the operation stuff. If you don't know, Whitney handles a lot of my strategic stuff. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think me and this man is in competition. We collaborate. We talk all the time. If I can save money on a cup, call him. If something's going up on the price of beans, he called me. I call him my brother of the bean. And not just him, even Crystal Lamar, that's in Coffee Hip Hop. I gave him his first 100 pounds. We like the coffee cartel, I guess. So one of the things I think that helps with that, you got to have systems, you have to have processes, and you have to trust the system and the processes. You need to have people with a certain skill set. You can't do it all, like Tracy said. If it wasn't for my daughter and the support of, Whitney, family, it takes a lot of balance. So in order for me to be sitting here while the other locations I work in, there's a system is in place. So that's what, motivates me. This brother motivates me. And like I said, don't get it twisted. It's not a competition. We collaborate. We all want to win.
I love that. I want to touch on it because, it happens. A lot of times when we think of Black-owned business, there's a negative connotation associated with that, right? Unfortunately, we hear a lot of words like bad attitudes, lack of quality, running out of things, all of these negative words attributed to Black-owned businesses. Now, I know that's none of us here, right? Because this is a celebration of excellence. But how do you all work against those type of stereotypes? How do you, even from hiring within the community, right? How do you help to dispel those type of stereotypes surrounding Black-owned business?
Yeah, no, I think those are some of the things that we think about every day. I mean, our reason sometimes for being in business is to create a different narrative that we've experienced in our communities. So for us, I know one of our biggest things is training. We are super, super serious about the experience that you get when you come to a Momentum Coffee. And my wife, myself, I'll go to every location in the day, and sometimes I'll just sit out, just pop in. If I don't hear momentum, welcome to Momentum Coffee when you walk through the door, we got conversations. And so we are really serious about like not only the quality that we serve, of course, but the experience that we have, and experience that we have as Black people in our community with our own businesses. And so that's really important for us. So we spend a lot of time training and testing and training to the degree where you once you leave Momentum, you're the greatest. You can go anywhere. You make Starbucks good.
He hit that right on the head, the training piece. I'll just add that what we do at Sip and Save, we have what we call the 5 C's. And if you see me, I'm always talking about it being crisp, clean, classy, consistent, and great customer service. And now we own what we call the 4 E's: empowerment, education, entertainment, and experience. I think you deserve what you tolerate. That's one of my P-wisms. If you allow your employees to do certain things and you just shove it off, it could be a problem. Like Tracy said, during the training, or what I call the educating of an employee, they need to know that they're protecting your brand. They representing you. And if they're in there on their phone or they being obnoxious or anything like that, it affects the brand. And we don't tolerate it. I know Tracy don't tolerate it. We done had these conversations before. So for me, and I'm sure I'm speaking for him, we deserve the best of everything. Class, elegance. We don't deserve, nasty bathrooms or somebody with a snooty attitude taking your order. So for that, that's why I say I love this brother. We talk all the time about our challenges. So I'll just piggyback on him. The training and quality control follow-up is monumental in this business.
So what are some of the challenges that you all experience as you're scaling, right? We just said there are 6 locations between you all. How did you get there? What are the challenges that you've experienced and how did you overcome them?
Well, I think challenge is like an easy word. That's an understatement. We opened our first location in June of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. We planned it right before the pandemic, 2019. And, we were all excited about opening up a coffee and co-working space. But then in March, we realized we weren't going to have a co-working space and all we could do is deliver coffee to the door. But I think for us, some of the biggest first challenges were just really getting supplies, supply chain problems that exist. But then one of the biggest issues that we discovered was just really important personnel. The workforce just was not ready to go back to work. And we were just really struggling to, consistently have people in the spaces. And then, of course, as you scale, you start to multiply that same issue by each location. And so scaling becomes really tricky because you have to be able to man those stores with good quality people, not just people. And so for us, it's really about training, just picking the right people and saying, and then just instilling in people some things that maybe some other businesses don't do, and that's pride, respect, a lot of intangibles that we have to deal with that have nothing to do with coffee, but we are committed to our community, we're committed to building our community, so we do spend the time to do that. For us, one of the things that we did to address some of the issues that we have now is we've got a Department of Labor approved apprenticeship program. We realized that people needed to be inspired to have more than just a cafe associate job or be even a barista. They wanted to say, well, can I be a manager? Or can I be an owner? And we said, yeah, of course you can. And let's make a pathway for you to have this. And this is how we build, and this is how we inspire. And it's starting to really begin to work for us.
One of the things we do during the interview process, we ask, what are your ambitions? It doesn't have to be being a barista. Some people want to be musicians, some want to be actors. And what we say to them, well, we could turn you on to all them people that come in the coffee house. We know all the directors of The Chi, all the movies that's come out in Chicago, some of the actors come there, we have musicians in there, politicians, you name it. So always tell them, it's the Ear Hustle Cafe. Even though it's Sip and Save, you come in there and just tilt your head every once in a while. You're gonna catch up on something, whether it's real estate, whether it's in marketing, social media. So we really try to let people know they're gonna get a skill set there. We don't hire you just to be a barista. You're gonna learn about decision making, problem solving, conflict resolution, prioritization, inventory control. So you could take that skill set to any other job. So people love that. That's why a lot of people that work at that big place that start with an S starting to come over to Sip and Savor, because they see we invest in not only our company, but in our people.
How can two Black-owned businesses coexist in the same pitch and say that they are not competitors? What does that look like?
You know what it looks like? I will tell you what it looks like. I just saw this article on The Guardian, and I didn't get to read the full article. I did a little post on Facebook. In 1930, there were 6,300 Black-owned grocery stores in America. Today, there are 10. So when you ask that question, how can we coexist? We can coexist because the demand is there for more than one Black-owned coffee place, guys. Like, I literally, in my Millennium Park location, I've got 4 Starbucks right across the street. A Dunkin' Donut, a Fairgrounds, a Stan's, and within 1 block. So for us, it's a concerted effort to support each other. Before I started Momentum Coffee, 7 years, I went to Sip and Savor, like right down the street from where I live, every morning on my walk.
I wasn't gonna mention that.
But in my brain, it was always, I am gonna leave my money here with a Black-owned business.
So I'm glad he mentioned it. I grew up on the north side, and you know, you can walk out your door and you can see a ton of bars, and all of them are drive-in. You can go down the street to a breakfast joint, all of them full. So I grew up looking at everybody should be able to be successful. In this coffee business, you know, 2 things stick out for me. Coffee is the 2nd largest traded commodity in the world behind oil, and it's addictive. I tell everybody that, and it's legal. So it's enough out there for everybody to eat well. I shouldn't be eating steak and this brother eating bologna. So, you know, I always try to share any and everything I can with them. The reason we don't have a lot of more things is people don't want to put in the work. You've got to put in the work. And the people don't see what goes on behind the scenes of putting this together. All the costs, all the expenses dealing with the city, the state, the federal government, vendors, employees. They say we make it look good. That's what they say. But I always use this analogy about a swan. It looks beautiful on top. You look on the water, and them feet moving like all get out to be graceful. So you ain't gonna see us complaining and crying about stuff, but at 2 or 3 in the morning, he'll tell you when we throwing back bourbon and crying about, man, how we gonna deal with these new cost increases? And we find a way. How we gonna deal with these employees that got all these entitlement mentalities? So we work together. If more people thought like we did, I think it's nothing that we couldn't do, to be honest. Nothing.
So what I'm hearing is mindset, right? It's not having a scarcity mindset, but recognizing that abundance is everywhere. There's more than enough.
Indeed.
And that not only can you coexist, but you can thrive together. My last question, legacy. Everything that we've talked about today, everything that this weekend is about is legacy. What does that look like for you all? What is the end goal?
I'll be brief with it. The end goal for me is my grandkids will be able to say, my great granddaddy started a coffee shop back in 2004. And now we have a wing in the hospital. We own a shopping center. We own real estate, because that is the foundation of where you start. Guys always hear, you know, the old adage, they got old money. But that's what it means, keeping the money within the family. For people that ain't gonna trick it off, we're gonna use it for something to reinvest. And I'm big on that. So I'm looking forward to my daughter. Stand up, Pumpkin. Where you at out there? Stand up, Pumpkin. That's my daughter out there. So she started working for me when she was a teenager. Now her kids are teenagers. So that lets you know she's learning everything about the business, the community, and everything else. What legacy looks like to me is they ain't gonna have to go and ask no bank for no loot. They ain't gotta try to get no special treatment. We'll have enough money, power, and influence to do whatever we want to do.
You know, for me, though, I think legacy is a combination of what Trey said. You know, obviously for my children, my 10-year-old here who already is called a mini manager, and she does as much marketing as any of us. That she has a place, and there's some places she can go, and you know, and just step right into a business without having to go through a lot of the things that we've done. But even bigger than that is really the legacy that Momentum leaves for everybody that experiences Momentum, for our employees, for the people who aspire to be entrepreneurs. I always say, and it's not my saying, I get it from anywhere, because you got to think about it. Everything that we are is built on something that we pulled from somewhere else. That men that stand on giants' shoulders see more. And that everything I know is just a compilation of people who have poured into me, mentors, parents, and everything. And so for us, the legacy is continuing to push and expand the boundaries and hopefully be able to strengthen our community and strengthen our neighborhoods so that we have better futures for everybody.
I love it. I love it. If there was one thing that you could say to everyone out here listening, what would you say?
One word.
One thing.
One thing. You need resilience. I said two things, and fortitude to get into this business. And for me, I'll give you another purism. That's three things.
I see.
Believe nothing what you hear and half of what you see. My daughter and Whitney will tell you. Go out and do your own research, and God we trust, all else bring data. Because people will tell you anything and everything, and once you dip your toe in it, you in it. So talk to somebody who's been doing it, somebody who's gonna be honest, forthright, and genuine with you. Do your research, look at data. Don't jump out there because somebody tells you this is easy or you can make money. I got into this to make a difference. Of course, now I really want to make money, but you got to understand your business. If you don't, you're wasting your time and your customers' time.
Yeah, for me, I would say be passionate. So whatever you do, whatever you desire, have passion for what you do, because it's not a very easy road. And in those times when things look like it's dire, it's your passion and the love that you have for what you do and your goals that you want to achieve that's going to keep you pushing forward in your mission. So I would say, don't ever do anything half-heartedly. Always put 100% into what you do and love what you do.
All righty, so I want to make sure that you guys connect with them. They'll be here for the remainder of the conference, but if for some reason you cannot connect with them today in person, how can people follow you all on social media?
You can go on Instagram, SipandSavorChicago.com. On the Facebook, it's just under my name, Trez Pugh. And I think that's the only way you can get a hold of me, because I'm not giving out no numbers. Tracy.
Momentum Coffee Chicago on Instagram. I think it's similar on Facebook as well. If you want to follow me, it's Tracy G. Powell on every network, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And of course, if you want to send us an email, you got some ideas, support@momentumcoffee.org. Momentumcoffee.org. Support@momentumcoffee.org.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. And you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Whitney Hampton.
Dive into the heart of